Absorption of digested products. Absorption is the process by which the end products of digestion pass through the intestinal mucosa into the blood or lymph. It is carried out by passive, active or facilitated transport. Now first about passive transport, it is the process of absorption of nutrients without the expenditure of energy and in accordance with the concentration gradient. That is from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Passive transport involves diffusion. So diffusion is the passive movement of solute molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Now small amounts of monosaccharides like glucose, amino acids and some electrolytes like chloride ions are generally absorbed by simple diffusion. Next method is facilitated transport. In facilitated transport, movement of solute occurs only with the help of some carrier molecules. Some of the substances like fructose and some amino acids are absorbed with the help of carrier ions like sodium ions, and this mechanism is called facilitated transport. Now about the active transport, it is a process of absorption of nutrients against concentration gradient and it requires energy. Various nutrients like amino acids, monosaccharides like glucose, electrolytes like sodium ions are absorbed into the blood by active transport. Now about the absorption of fat, fatty acid and glycerol being insoluble cannot be absorbed into the blood. They are first incorporated into small droplets called micelles which move into the intestinal mucosa. They are reformed into very small protein-coated fat globules called the chylomicrons, which are transported into the lymph vessel, that is lacteal, inside the villi. Here you can see the lacteal, the lymphatic vessel, into which these chylomicrons are absorbed. Now surrounding capillaries also you can see. These lymph vessels ultimately release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream. Absorption of substances takes place in different parts of the alimentary canal like stomach, small intestine and large intestine. Assimilation. The absorbed substances finally reach the tissues which utilize them for their activities. This process is called assimilation. Now functions of large intestine. First one is absorption of some water, minerals and certain drugs. Second point is secretion of mucus which helps in adhering the waste, that is the undigested particles, together and lubricating it for an easy passage. The undigested, unabsorbed substances called feces enters into the cecum of the large intestine through ileocecal valve and is temporarily stored in rectum till defecation. It is a voluntary process and is carried out by mass peristaltic movement. Now about the disorders of digestive system, first is jaundice. The liver is affected, skin and eyes turn yellow due to the deposit of bile pigments. And the other disorders include vomiting, diarrhea, constipation and indigestion. Now about the protein energy malnutrition that affects infants and children to produce diseases, namely marasmus and kwashiorkor. So marasmus is a protein deficiency disease. It impairs growth and replacement of tissue proteins. Skin becomes dry, thin and wrinkled. Now kwashiorkor is another protein deficiency disease which shows thinning of limbs, failure of growth and brain development.